Welcome, to the Next Generation News Network, where the next generation of sane minds align. Fresh faces, fresh minds is what this failing world needs most. Add to the conversation, and enjoy. Even though President Trump plans to defund the National Public Radio, NPR, channels, it will take at least 2 years before the NPR defunding goes into effect. Defunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, an idea floated by the Trump administration, would likely take 2 years to go into effect. The funding for CPB, which receives roughly $450 million a year for public television and public radio, is allotted 2 years in advance. Any appropriations bill that did not include new funding for the CPB would mean that it would not be defunded until fiscal year 2019. The move would cut funding to National Public Radio, widely considered liberal-leaning, which recently failed to disclose during an interview with Trump-bashing former CIA analyst Ned Price that he was a Hillary Clinton donor. Exact funding that NPR receives from the taxpayer is unclear. The CPB allots $99.1 million of its $445 million budget to public radio in the form of grants. Roughly $69 million are unrestricted grants for producing local content and covering station costs, and $22.8 million are restricted, which are used to acquire and produce programming that is distributed nationally. In 2014, the CPB issued 410 grants to 1,119 public radio stations. Grants included partnering a local radio station with the Environmental Protection Agency and church youth groups for an anti-littering campaign, and a transgender awareness program in Delaware. NPR says most of its funding comes from contributions from individuals' listeners. 37% of funding comes from individuals, and 14% from taxpayers, including 9% from the CPB and 5% from federal, state, and local governments. Federal funding is essential to public radio service to the American public, NPR says, emphasis in original. Its continuation is critical for both stations and program producers, including NPR. NPR adds that eliminating federal funding would result in less journalism. The Republican Study Committee has long recommended cutting the CPB, arguing a free society should not have government-supported media outlets, especially ones that so often convey political news and opinion. Since 1975, funding for the CPB has been approved 2 years in advance. Funding for fiscal year 2018 for the CPB has already been approved. By eliminating CPB funding in this year's appropriations bill, funding would not cut off until FY 2019. A Republican budget aide told the Free Beacon that the Trump administration's blueprint will likely mirror the Republican Study Committee's budget and would defund the CPB beginning in 2 years. The Republican aide said the 2-year advance funding makes it more likely that the CPB could be defunded, since members would not have to be concerned that public radio and television funds would be stripped immediately. The 2-year time period would give NPR and other public radio stations time to ramp up fundraising. This has been a Next Generation News Network production. If you would like to see more videos like these in the future, please like, comment and subscribe.